Yeah, so.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, what brings you in today?
Oh my gosh, I've just had like so much fatigue, and I've had gut issues for like the last 6 months, and I've changed my diet. I'm doing a paleo diet. I've tried a lot of different things. It's gotten a little bit better, but not significantly. Not as much after 6 months of doing that of what I would expect.
Right.
So I'm just realizing that I need some help.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've really, for 6 months, you've been working. You've been changing your diet. You've been doing paleo diet. Have you seen some other practitioners too?
Mostly online.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly just researching and.
You've been researching your own and taking some stuff.
Yeah.
So just pause for 1 second. This is the greatest thing. Do you see what's happening right here? Yeah, he's like repeating everything she says, and so it's making her feel heard.
Yeah, he's
Awesome.
validating.
Validating
Yeah.
her experience. Yeah, building trust. Thanks, go ahead.
So, we see this kind of stuff all the time. They've really taken their health into their hands to a degree. They've started to change their diet. They've done some research online. They've started to take some supplements, and they get just a smidge better, but not to the level that they really want to feel, that they're not getting there. And so that's extremely common. We deal with that all the time. And the thing is that with some dietary change, sometimes that's enough for a minor case, but a lot of times there's another underlying root cause that's just not been found. So we use some lab testing, we do some questionnaires, we talk to clients about how things that may have been missed, we can find those, and then we do a step-by-step approach. And that step-by-step approach, really, diet is one small part of a big whole that we're using. And so together, the diet plus finding those root cause issues and doing some things around detoxification, doing some things with our health coach, that's going to really help you to be able to get to your goals.
That makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, and when we were doing that, I was literally doing stuff that patients do in my office.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had multiple patients recently that have said they've tried to fix their own issues, and they just finally realized that they need help. So that's why it was very easy, because I hear that. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And everybody probably hears that because everybody goes
Yeah.
up to Dr. Google and does what they can, right?
Yes.
And this is
Absolutely.
probably, and I'm sure if you were to just keep going, this is where you could land in. So how our practice works is, yes, I'm a chiropractor, but I'm also a functional medicine practitioner, and nutrition comes first. And so all of our patients do lab work, and we do these questionnaires,
Yes.
and then once we determine what the root cause is, then we would make a plan of a supplementation, dietary changes, lifestyle modification, talking with our health coach every once in a while, and then we'll take you through a step-by-step program that'll get you to where you want to go. So you just start throwing that conversation in there with every single patient.
Yeah, and it seems very logical. It's like,
Right.
okay, well, yeah, that makes sense that I would be in a different place by finding out and then doing things to move in a different direction,
Yeah,
So I would be
totally.
like, oh, yeah, okay, well, how do I do this? Where do I sign? How much is it?
Yeah, so let's just step into that because I think at some point we were going to do that. So, so how much is it and how does it work?
Yeah, how much is it? How does it work?
So let's talk about how it works first,
Okay.
because I want to make sure it's a good fit for you, and you're a good fit for our practice before we talk about the finances.
Yeah.
Then, if we establish that it would be a great fit for you, and that you would be a good fit for our practice, and I think we could get results with you, then we'll talk about the finances. Does that work for you?
Yes.
Great. So what we're going to do is step one is we're going to need about 6 months of working together, and we're going to order labs first, and that's where we're going to identify those root cause issues. Step two is we're going to connect you with our health coach and nutritionist, and she's going to help implement some of these things that we're discovering along the way. So once we get some labs in and we discover root cause issues, we're going to put you on a very specific nutrition plan, supplements, lifestyle. She's going to help you with implementing it because we want to make sure that you're successful with doing it one step at a time.
Okay.
Third step is we're going to connect you in with our education curriculum. You're going to get daily videos, 1 per day, for a little over 6 months' time. And that's going to help you to be able to, because what we don't want is we don't want to get to the end of 6 months. You feel fantastic. but then a year later you're back to where you are now. We don't want that. So we need to have you have the education so that you can sustain and maintain afterwards. So that's step 3. And then when we get the labs in, we'll be doing monthly follow-up visits over that 6 months. We'll also have some between session support for you and some group class opportunities.
Okay.
So what I need to know from you in order to decide whether you would be a good fit is, 1, are you ready, willing, and able to do some lab testing to find these root cause issues? It'll involve getting blood drawn and taking some lab kits home.
Yes.
Okay. And making nutrition change. Are you ready to do that?
Yeah.
It sounds like you are, because you're already doing paleo diet.
Right.
And so we may make some tweaks in there, so you're good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how about some lifestyle change? So doing some exercise, doing things like maybe a mindfulness practice, meditation practices. Are you open to making some lifestyle changes?
Yeah, I'm open to that.
So I hear a little bit of hesitation there.
Yeah.
I just want to see, what is that about?
Just time management.
Sure.
You know, for me, it's like that's probably the biggest thing is I'm just so busy. You
So,
know?
so you're concerned that if it's too much time, that might be an issue for you?
Yeah, just I've got to make room for that.
Sure.
Right.
So in
yeah.
terms of exercise plan, would you feel that 30 minutes 3 times a week would be able to be integrated into your current schedule?
I think I can make that work. Yes.
You think you can?
Yes.
Or you are ready to? Because we need to know what we're working with here in order.
Right.
If we're going to get results, which I want to get results.
Right.
I need to understand what you're ready to do. And if we have, an hour and a half a week to work with
Yeah.
on exercise piece, I think we're good.
Okay.
If we don't, then we might just have to talk a little more. So where do you feel? Do you feel confident that you're ready?
If it's important and I need to do it, then I will make it happen.
So it is important.
Yes.
Do you realize it's important?
Well, we haven't done the assessment yet, so I don't know.
So as long as when we do the assessment,
Yes. If
we
it
see
was,
some evidence.
Yes.
Okay. Then
If you see-
you're willing to.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Great. Then I think you'd be a really good fit for the practice.
Okay.
So does this approach feel right for you?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
And aside from the finances, which we'll talk about here, are there any other objections, any other hesitations, anything that would hold you back from getting started today?
No, I don't think so because we already covered that.
So no, over the next 6 months, no big travel plans. You're not gone for more than 2 weeks. You don't have any.
I don't have any plans right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So then let's cover the finances.
Okay.
Do you want us to actually?
Yeah, go for
Okay.
it. That's good. It's good? Yeah, it's great.
You know what? You know what would be great is are you taking notes on this?
Just a little bit now.
Or
As
is
long as
somebody
I
taking
can.
notes on this? Because you could really create a script.
Totally.
You could
Yeah.
do that would
Totally.
really help
Sure.
to make this into
We
a
have
It has
script.
to be a
visuals,
video.
yes.
Oh, it's being videoed.
Yeah.
Okay, make a script.
Make a script.
Scripts are helpful. Okay.
Okay, so for the 6-month program, we have 2 options, and the 2 options are either individual or group. And the individual option is where all of your sessions are one-on-one. So you'll be coming in twice a month for one-on-one sessions. The group option, half are one-on-one, half are in a group setting, so we have a group of people together. We'll still have our one-on-one opportunity to go over labs and give you custom protocols in that one-on-one setting.
Okay.
So the big difference between the 2, obviously, is the investment is a little less on the group side because we have more people in that group setting for the sessions there. So, including, and this includes the labs, the supplements, all the visits, for that 6-month individual is $13,500 and
Okay.
group is $9,800.
Okay. Okay.
So
and then
which-
does that include all the supplements too?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. So the way that works is we have a budget towards supplements, and there's going to be $3,500 towards labs and supplements. That usually lasts about the 6 months. If it runs out a little early, you might have a little towards the end that you need to add in.
Okay.
If usually it lasts about the 6 months, sometimes it'll last a little longer, and you'll have a little extra credit for a maintenance protocol afterwards, or can be refunded.
Okay.
So which of the options works better for you?
So, so I get that the advantage of doing the group is it's less expensive, but
Yeah.
what's the advantage of doing the individual one-on-one? Like what?
Really, it's only if you're not comfortable with groups and you
Okay.
want more one-on-one time, and you really just want to do that one-on-one
Okay.
attention.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I think I want to do the group.
all right. we can take care of that investment.
And that's for a 6 month period?
That's for 6 months,
6 months,
yep.
okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we can take care of that in one of three ways if you can.
So with the group session, that brings up a question, because I just thought about this. So with the group session, I'm gonna need to be scheduling with everybody else, right? So is
Yeah,
there
so we
less
have-
flexibility?
So we
there?
have evening classes to make it real
Okay.
easy for people to come to.
Okay.
Either 5 or 5:30, and we do them on different days of the week, so we give you options
Oh,
for
okay,
that.
okay.
So most
And-
people can make that.
Okay.
And Carolyn, would
Yes.
you respond by saying, I'm gonna go home and think about it?
Possibly, but you know what I think why I would not do that
Why?
is because he already addressed maybe objections that I had, and then we kind of got through that, and so
Awesome.
I'm not feeling like I have objections. Like I kind of already know I want to do it because we
Beautiful.
already kind of
Well, yeah,
went through this.
I specifically asked, is there
Yes,
any hesitation
exactly.
other
He
than
already did-
finances?
he already did that.
Already
So I-
have to
Awesome.
make
Yeah,
sure they're all
Awesome.
it's
Awesome.
just not
off the
naturally
table.
there.
Beautiful.
But the thing that would make someone say, I need to go think about it, is if their spouse wasn't there.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I don't
Exactly.
allow that. Spouse
That's
has to
true.
come to
Yeah.
the appointment.
That's true. Okay,
It's
that's good.
just required.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
can ask, what about my insurance?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that
Oh, yeah.
would never happen either because our pre-education already covered.
That you don't
No
take
insurance,
insurance,
got it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
plus,
the-
and
so
plus
they're-
it's like I'm asking the fee, so I'm not assuming. Because
Sure.
like he would have given me the option for insurance, right? He would have
Sure.
said, well, you can use your insurance for this, and then it's this much, or
Although I do
we
that,
don't
and
take
people ask me
insurance.
all the time.
Yeah,
do you
either-
take insurance?
Yeah.
For me, either they've come to an event where a significant portion of that event has been dedicated to
Ah.
talking about the problems with insurance and
Mhm.
why insurance doesn't pay for what we do, or if they haven't been to the event for whatever reason, which doesn't happen because we require that, but if for whatever reason they come in and haven't, then the first 5 minutes of the session is talking about why insurance doesn't pay for what we do. So,
Got it.
Right.
so
Beautiful.
it's the first thing that's covered.
And it's just him talking about the fees, just going straight. It's like I just knew insurance wasn't an option because he didn't give it as an option.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I would have more questions on the group thing. So,
Yeah.
so with the group, so you're saying, so you said it's certain nights a week? Like, how many nights a week would it
Yeah,
be?
so-
And then how often do I need to come? Is it
So
every
one,
week?
we want you to come about once a month
Once
to
a
those
month,
groups.
okay.
And you'll have a couple different options on a couple different days of the week to
Okay.
choose from.
Okay.
So you'll be in office for a one-on-one session once a month and then for a group session once a month.
Oh, okay, so I come in twice a month?
Yep.
But just one's a group session and one's a
Exactly.
one-on-one?
You got
Okay,
it.
otherwise it would all be one-on-one twice a month?
Right.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, now I'm clear, okay.
Great.
Okay, well, no, I mean, that's great, because I get at least one-on-one, and then I'll do the other one group, so that's good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So do I schedule all that now?
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll have our office manager come in, she'll take care of the paperwork with
Okay.
you. You can either take care of the investment all up front, and we'll give you a little discount for that.
Okay.
Or we can divide it into 3 payments, or we can go through outside financing if we have to.
Okay.
Which of those works better?
I guess I would want to know what the 3 payments would be.
Yeah, so we just take the total and divide it by
Okay,
3.
three.
Do
Okay.
1/3 down today
Do you
to
pay
get
extra
started.
for that?
No,
Okay.
no extra for that.
Okay.
But you do get a 5% discount if you want to take care of it all right now.
Upfront?
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. The 3 payments, are they taken out automatically?
Yeah, so what we'll
Okay.
do is we'll take the first today
Okay.
to get you started,
Right.
and then 30 days from today, a month from today, we'll set up an automatic payment to come out from a credit card or a bank, either way, and we'll just do those 2 additional payments a month apart.
Okay. And so this, just to be clear, this covers my evaluation, everything I would need supplement-wise, and all my follow-ups.
Exactly, yeah.
And any other treatment in there?
Yeah, so we've got the 3,500 that's dedicated just to the labs and
Okay.
supplements, so that
Okay.
that's dedicated just there, covering labs and supplements.
Okay.
And then all your visits are covered, the time with the health coach is covered,
Okay.
those videos, those educational videos are covered.
Okay.
And we'll also give you acupuncture at the end of any one-on-one session if you want it, that's optional.
Oh,
But there's
okay.
no additional charge for that.
Okay, but then, so I could get that, and I wouldn't have to pay extra for
Exactly,
that?
exactly,
The
yep.
acupuncture.
Yeah, at the end of every one-on-one session,
Give me
we'll,
that.
it's easy for us to put needles in and then go into the other room
Okay.
and work with the next person. So we
So,
offer
yeah.
that as a complimentary
Okay.
addition.
That sounds good. I want to do that.
Awesome.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I'll just do
Thank
the
you.
straight up payment.
Okay, would you stay
Sounds
here for
great.
just another minute, please?
Yeah.
Thanks. How was that? Yes.
So how do you deal with a person that you say, oh, it's gonna be $13,500 and you get the sticker shock?
Exactly. Usually that doesn't happen because if that happens, I start to ask what didn't happen before that made them not understand the value.
Yep.
What did I do or not do?
It's not in that moment. It's before, and I'll get a sense. If I know someone's on disability or something, like that, or they're in their early 20s, or if there are certain times when, it would be understandable, but for the most part, for most people, that's an upstream issue. That
They can
means
find a
that
way.
somewhere in the process between when they found out about us and that moment, I didn't do my job of communicating the value to them and help them to understand it. Mostly I didn't get enough emotion in that session. We didn't go over that in this, but, optimally,
Yeah. I have a question.
emotion has to be a huge part of that initial consultation.
Yeah.
And ideally the person is in tears at having been understood so deeply. That's
That they're in so much pain.
yeah,
They just
that
want to get
they've been
better.
empathized with, and that they feel like I understand their situation, and that I have confidence that we can help dramatically. That's what people really need in order to avoid that. So almost every single time that happens, the sticker shock, I haven't gotten the depth of the level of emotion. Like, I knew I was having a really hard time getting to emotion. Like, we were talking about their problems and they were smiling, kind of laughing at them, and I couldn't get into that emotion. Then I might experience that sticker shock, and I realized the problem was that I couldn't communicate the value because I couldn't get the emotion. And the emotion
The
was
connection.
key in that whole process.
Do you find that's a patient that's not necessarily a good fit then? If they're like not opening up?
It depends. It really depends. If someone is legitimately like, I make $1,000 a month and 600 of that is going to rent, then I'm going to say, look, this program isn't the best fit. Let's talk about a non-doctor time, just nutrition only with our nutritionist program, and divide $1,000 into 3 payments for 3 months just with the nutritionist. Then we're talking a different kind of program, but
Right.
that's a rare exception that a person legitimately is not, and that is very rare. Most people who give the financial excuse are just politely saying no.
Well,
Also-
So
plus I think, I always think to myself, do they know how much, many other functional medicine practitioners cost? Because, everything's relative, but like I absolutely know programs, functional medicine program, they specialize in treating prediabetes and diabetes, and they charged just under $8,000 for 6 months. And their competitor charged $10,500 for 6 months. And then Mark Hyman charges $2,000 for 1 visit.
Wow.
So, it's kind of relative. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I just tell them, like, I might even ask that question, like, have you checked, do you know how much functional medicine costs? Have you done any research on that? And talk about that, you know what I mean? So that they kind of, because a lot of people, they might not have any awareness, of that this is an investment and you're investing in yourself, and it's going to be for a certain period of time, and you're going to be in a much better place in a year. It's a way to work. It's kind of a way for personal development, right?
Yeah.
It's an investment.
It is an investment.
Yeah. And then also, you're going to take, different things, and it might be more than you're used to, right? But you're doing it for a period of time, and you get to a better place, and we get you to a place of stabilization, and then that's going to reduce, right? You won't need as much,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So it's just another way to educate them.
It
Yeah.
is, and it shouldn't. That shouldn't even have to happen
Right.
if the
Shouldn't
value
have
is
to
built
happen. That's right.
ahead
Yeah.
of time. Like, people want to know that they can get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
That's what it doesn't matter if it involves functional medicine or chiropractic or acupuncture or you know, jumping up and down on one foot. If they can get to where they want to go, that's what's important.
Mhm.
And they need to feel deeply like you understand where they are, where they want to go, and you are confident in being able to get them there. And, you know, that's, and the emotion is incredibly important. It has to be.
Yeah. There's another important piece that I think it's like even more, at least just as vital as that, is the part about you being aligned to your offer. So if someone said to you, if you told someone and they had sticker shock, you have to look inside yourself and go, how does it feel when I'm offering this? So I guarantee you that Miles is totally comfortable with his offer. He knows the value of it. He's excited to share it. He knows it's going to help his people. There's no question in his mind whether or not it's valuable and worth it. And that's where we got to get with whatever it is we're offering. It doesn't matter if you have a $13,000 practice or a $100 offer. You know, and I'm going to share something. We have a 4-week program where I'm going to share that, where we're going to really dive into helping you align to your offer. Because once you get aligned to it, and then you're on fire for it, you can't wait to tell people about it, and that's when people say yes. There's no sticker shock then, because they're like, I'm all over it, because you're all over it, right?
I would agree with that, because I try to give my staff as much to do with the financial side, you know, to keep it separate. But if I do it, the person always
works.
comes on board.
That's right.
If they do it, not necessarily, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm trying to get them up to that point, but it's a process.
Well, and to be clear, there's a difference between being confident in the program and feeling nervous about asking someone for so much money. I mean, you know, Joseph earlier said you shouldn't feel your heart beating in your chest. Well, I have to admit, the first time I was asking a client for a $9,800 program or a $13,000 program, I felt my heart beating in my chest.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Getting hot and
Yeah, but how much work went into
nervous,
that to build that program
yeah.
out? Like your heart and soul and sweat and blood and tears and everything. I know what went into that, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like totally in it. It's his baby. It's his creation. He's like, I'm bringing this to the world, and I know I'm going to help people with this, so I'm doing this, and it's scary, but I'm doing it anyway.
Well, now I'm relaxed and comfortable talking about even a $22,000 program, but that's took time to get there.
And
feel
you have a
relaxed
level
about
of
it.
comfort for receiving that too. So if we don't feel like we're worthy enough to receive $13,000 for a program, you're not going to get a sell. Like that's the way that is, right? Mm-hmm. He's done a lot of work to get to that place, and that's what we got to do. You know, regardless of what your offer is. Yeah.
So my thing is that I wouldn't be that because I wouldn't know how to manage expectations. I know I can help, but you know, will it fit what they really need and want? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the confidence is, right? Feeling confident in what you're offering.
Yeah, but I can't just like pretend I'm confident if I'm not.
Well,
You just have to get there.
one of the things that I do is I'm like, okay, here I'm here.
It's like I've had a lot of failures. People that haven't. I worked really hard and they.
But what about
did something.
But what about the successes that you've had?
Yep.
Are you focusing on that?
Well, and I'll tell you, I've had a lot more success. I mean, you know, one of the things that really I felt reaffirmed after we started doing these programs in our clinic, and one of the things that really reaffirmed we're on the right track here is, I remember one of the first people who finished a 6-month program, and I was sitting doing a review of what had happened, and we were getting a video testimonial, and she was talking about how her fibromyalgia of 20 years had gone away, and how she had gotten off of 4 medications and she was working on getting off of the 5th, and she had been having Lupron injections to induce menopause, even though she was premenopausal, because her endometriosis was so painful. So that was the last one that she was coming off now, and she felt confident to come off that because she's doing so well, and her, you know, blood sugar dropped a ton, her inflammatory markers dropped a ton, and she felt great. And then we started getting, in those group classes, one person saying, I've lost 30 pounds, and then the next person's like, I've lost 30 pounds too, and then the next person says, my pain is gone, and the next person says that my digestive issue's gone, and then there's this huge, someone who's new in that group is like, whoa, something's happening here. And so I believe my results have increased, having a structure with more intensive care and a higher investment from people. They're committed to following through. Because a lot of failure comes when people aren't.
$325 a treatment.
Yeah.
And when people pay that, they get better results.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like, they say no, and
So-
all of the tire kickers leave.
Yeah, so imagine them,
Specialize in
yeah.
cancer, and a lot
Yeah.
of those people die. And some of them live.
Well-
And it's like, I don't quite know how to like promise an outcome, that's such a chaotic
I never promise an outcome. I tell them I'm going to give you realistic expectations. And if they're on thyroid medication, I say I don't know if we can get you off. It depends how much damage has been done to the thyroid tissue by the immune system. We may be able to get you off. We may not. I know that we'll be able to help support your immune system and get to some of these underlying root cause issues. And we may or may not be able to get you off of your medication. And so each different scenario, I'm going to give realistic expectations. Someone who's, mid-stage dementia, I'm not going to say you're going to be perfectly cognitively functioning at the end of this program. I'm going to say we're going to work to stop the progression of this or slow it down. That's really what I can speak confidently to. And in some cases, we might even see a little bit of reversal. So tempering expectations. I mean, if you know what your experience is, and you can tell people, like, here's what I think realistically we can do, and they'll appreciate that.
Yeah. Plus,
Also, can I say one thing?
Oh, yeah.
I would improve what you're doing in one way, which is, you kind of downplayed the group. I would say the group is perfect for this kind of person, and this individual is good for that kind of person, so they could not feel like, well, I'm getting second best, because I'm doing the group, because I don't have that much money. Because it's actually, groups really.
The group,
I would sell
yeah,
the
I
group so the
encourage,
right fit.
I encourage the group.
So it's
a
all
lot,
about
yeah.
the right fit, it's not about the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, good. Another thing I do when I'm looking at handling expectations is I say, okay, I hear this is what you've got. I hear it's been going on 12 years. How long do you think it's been taking you to build up to this level of dysfunction? Oh, probably all my life. Okay, so actually you're 55, so it's been about 55 years of dysfunction. How long do you think it's going to take for us to turn around 55 years of dysfunction?
More than 5 minutes?
So now they're like, oh, well, yeah, duh, right?
Yeah.
Now you've got them, and then there's no real expectation other than you should start feeling better in a few months. You should have a little bit more energy. We know we're going to help them do that, right? But you got to follow the program. And you're right, when they pay, they play. Yeah.
It's like pain. It's like pain says so much, right? Like, I believe that it's possible that I can get better, and almost like I expect to get better. Because if they didn't really believe that, well, they wouldn't be pain, right?
Yeah,
If they
that's right.
didn't, if they weren't going to do what's required, they wouldn't be pain.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
and you'll notice I got pre-commitment on doing the things that were part of the program, and I wouldn't accept someone into the program who's not going to give that commitment. They have to be willing to change their lifestyle. They have to be willing to change their nutrition, or I can't speak to with confidence that they're going to get better. So I
Yeah.
need that pre-commitment of, are you ready, willing, and able to do this, to make these changes,
Yeah.
to take your supplements, to do your labs.
Yeah.
I have to know that and get that pre-commitment.
Yeah.
And then if someone pre-commits and makes a substantial investment, they're
serious.
Occasionally someone does, fall off the bandwagon, but mostly, overwhelmingly, people are extremely invested in
Yeah.
that
Do you have a
care.
refund policy?
Yeah, it's all laid out in the contract.
So getting a pre-commitment, one of the things I have been doing, but now I've kind of changed the script a little bit. So I have everybody do a readiness assessment, and it's scored. And they actually, it's like a 1 to 5 on their level of commitment. And most everybody's putting 5s and 4s.
Sure.
Usually all 5s is a little red flag. But when they come in, we use that score and say, okay, based on your score, it means that you're ready to go. It means that you're on it. You're ready to get busy. Because it's all the questions, I'm asking it ahead of time in this question. Yes. And they actually have to put why they answered it the way they
Oh,
answered
that's
it.
good.
Yes.
That's good.
So I've already got the commitment. So it's very difficult for them to go back and say,
Never
well, because it's a conflict of integrity.
Yeah.
It's them.
And we have 0
Not-
to 10 questions
Yeah.
also on their willingness to make
Yeah.
change, but I still get their verbal commitment.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if that's less than 7 out of 10 on their willingness to make change or their coachability,
Yes.
then we have a conversation about that before moving forward.
Exactly. If they score under a certain amount,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, you two.
Yeah.
We need to wrap this part of the conversation up. Is there any last questions you'd like to ask before we go? Yeah.
Miles, you mentioned that you charge for this initial conversation. Does it sound pretty lengthy, right? Like how long would it usually take on average? And then do you charge them up front and then you say, you're not right for refund?
Yeah, we do pre-charge, and I have a session tomorrow where I can go into more detail about this. But yes, we pre-charge, but we charge a small rate. We give a big discount, so we just charge $87 for, and we reserve an hour. Sometimes we're done in half an hour. Sometimes we use the whole hour, but we have an hour on the books to have this conversation.
Yeah, I charge a consult fee. Consults are mandatory, and they fill out the readiness assessment for the consult, and it's non-refundable. So we tell them up front, it's to determine if you're right for the practice and if our practice is right for you. It's not to come in and get diagnosed with anything, and that's not what you're coming in for. So we're very clear on what the consult's for.
So even if you decide not to take them on, you keep that?
Yeah, and they understand that.
I always refund it if I decide not to take their case, but if they decide not to.
Yeah,
take
but
it,
what are you charging for a consult?
Well, the thing
Well,
is, I spent my
that
time,
initial
so
one, we
I'm
give a
not
big
gonna,
discount and make it
not gonna
87
do
for
that.
that.
Oh, okay.
For
What
that
I have
initial
done is
conversation,
give them
because
credit towards like supplements.
we wanna give
so
it
if they
at a
sign
discounted
on,
rate, just
Yeah,
they're getting
okay.
that
we can have that
$120
initial
credit
conversation.
towards-
Yeah,
Well,
right.
Yeah, 600s are normal rate.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
there's, that makes
Because
sense.
you think about like plastic surgeons.
Yes.
Yeah.
They always charge
Now
for
you mentioned
consults.
something
They'll
about
give you
having them
credit
have
for
already had
whatever
come to an event
procedure,
before
but
you get them in.
Yeah, we
After your
require
procedure,
that.
they're not- You don't get that money back.
They have to have come to a talk or watched a webinar prior to coming in that explains insurance and why we don't take why insurance doesn't pay for what we do, and it explains a few other things that basically are, dealing with objections before they come up. So.
Awesome. Sweet.
Will you be going into more exactly what you do during consultations and that type of thing?
I mean, I have a little time tomorrow to chat with you guys, so I'll take questions and things.
Beautiful. All right, so we're gonna do one more little